Hello my girls and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. This week, well, more than a week, I'm giving myself 2 weeks just to be for sure, but we are filming a followers pick my TBR, and I created 4 of my kind of like own categories to choose from just based off of what was on my TBR. So we had a nostalgic reads, and that's going to be The Host by Stephenie Meyers versus Beautiful Creatures. I used to read Stephenie Meyer, I don't know why I keep putting an S on there, all the time, and by all the time I mean I read the Twilight series over and over and over again an embarrassing amount of times. And then I had a romance pick, so we have Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher or Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan. I really want this one to be what wins because I'm really excited to read this. I loved the first Annabelle Monaghan book that I read, but I also do really like Lauren Asher, and I'm excited to get into this interconnected novel series, so we'll see which one wins. And then the next one I picked was an emotional read, so I have both A Little Life and The Nightingale, and both of these are books that are posted about all the time as far as like they'll make you cry, like you will for sure cry if you read them. And my reading style has changed as I continue to talk about over and over again, and I feel like I'm ready to dive into these books. Also, it's wintertime, so I just, in my head, that makes sense. And then our last section is series that I need to finish up reading or continue reading. So we have Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is the 4th book in the interconnected Chestnut Spring series. And then we have The Ever Queen, which is a part of, I don't know what this series is called, but the first book was called The Ever King. So this is the next one in that series. I put these head to head just because I'm trying to finish all the series that I'm in the middle of. So these are what would come next for that. And I also got both of these for Christmas. So let's take a look at our polls. They have not been up for even close to 24 hours, but I just finished the book that I was reading. So I need to know which of these two is going to win so I can go ahead and start reading. But right now we have 75% for The Host by Stephenie Meyer and 25% for Beautiful Creatures. That honestly really surprised me, but I'm wondering if that one's winning because Stephenie Meyer is just known about, like people just know who she is. And then we'll just quickly go through the other ones because I'm not reading them yet. We have 67% for Love Redesigned and 33% for Nora Goes Off Script, 100% for A Little Life. So I think that's a really recognized title. And then we have 67 and 33 again. The Ever Queen is winning. So I'm gonna wait to see on those other ones, but that means that we are starting with The Host by Stephenie Meyer. This is a big one. I know that I watched the movie like a really long time ago. Honestly, I don't, oh, it's just ripped. Okay, I thought we were missing like half a page, but we're good. I watched this movie like probably when I was in middle school, so I don't think it's too big of a deal that I watched the movie before. So anyways, it's 619 pages. I'm excited to get started. I'm excited to get into it. I think it's gonna be really interesting, and I remember loving the movie so much. So I don't remember what it's about, but it's gonna be a good time, and I will catch up with you girls when I've made some progress on this book. Okay, my girls, it's been a couple days since I filmed that last clip, and I am now 200 pages into The Host by Stephenie Meyer. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know if Stephenie Meyer is just like, what would you call that? Like an author that I enjoy, but I would not present to everyone like, hey, I enjoy this author, because Twilight had me in a death grip, okay? A death grip when I was younger. The only book series that I would reread over and over again, like unprompted. Nobody needed me to. Like, I don't know. I loved Twilight so much. And so I'm not surprised that I'm enjoying the writing style of this. The premise of this book is essentially just like, this is actually pretty, it's not like a normal, okay, hey Grace, just say it. They're on planet Earth. Aliens have invaded in a sense, but they're these kind of aliens who take what they're given and make it better in their heads, because the way that they're doing that is becoming the owners. Their souls are owning the bodies that they're being put into. So imagine if every single human on the planet got a new soul put into them, like without their consent. That's what they're doing to make the planet better. And so the last remaining humans are like trying to survive, but if any humans are found, then they're taken in and they are implanted with a new soul. Our female main character is a girl who was found and a soul was implanted into her, but she's not so easily letting go of her body, and she's like staying present as the host. That doesn't normally happen. So that's the premise of our story. Hello girls, I just finished The Host by Stephenie Meyer, and I didn't update you girls a lot throughout because it took me way longer to decide my feelings on it because this book was insane. I still don't know what to think about it. I skim read the last like 100 pages because in my opinion this book could have been like 200 pages shorter than what it actually was, but this book was essentially about a dystopian world where these aliens had come and they're like these tiny little worm things that they insert in the back of your neck, and it like literally takes over the function of your brain and body, and it takes all your memories. There's this group of humans who survived, and one of them got caught by the aliens and an alien was inserted into her, but then she stayed like in the brain with the host, or the host stayed in the brain with the alien and convinced her to take her back to her people, and that is what the story is about and like how that goes and stuff like that. It was so strange. I don't know how to explain it other than that. I mean, I was entertained, but it was so slow. It was giving like such day-to-day life, and it was like, okay, I get it. Like, I understand how the cave works. I get who these people are. This is a little bit like I know so much now about this world that isn't even real. So I gave it a 3-star. I mean, I liked it. I liked it for the dystopian aspect of it, but like there are some things with Stephenie Meyer's writing that's a little like, oh, I don't know about that because she is Mormon. And she does say that that plays an effect in her writing, and you can see that sometimes. So I don't know. It was okay. I wouldn't be like, you should go run out and read this. But if you enjoyed Twilight and you enjoyed that writing style, I think you would enjoy this. But with that being said, 3 out of 5 stars for this book. And our next little group of books were romance books, and that was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher and Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan. And I'm gonna have to be honest, I really wanted this one to win. I love Annabelle Monaghan. I was so excited when I got this book in. I couldn't wait to read it. But Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher won, so we will be reading this one. This is the first one in the Lakefront Billionaires series. I don't ever read the back, so I don't 100% know what it's going to be about. It's looking like it's going to be an enemies to lovers. Oh, okay, so it's a childhood rival and family frenemy, and this girl is an interior designer and he's helping her with it. So that's what this book's going to be about. I'll probably start it today. It's a big one. I think that Lauren Asher's books are so long and I've never really understood why. Just because the last ones I've read, I even said like, hey, this could have been a lot shorter than it was. But maybe I just don't have the right attention span for books. I don't know. But sometimes, in my opinion, they're just way too long. Like, this is a 500-page romance novel. I don't see a world where you need 500 pages in a romance novel, but we're going to do it. We're going to get into it. Apparently, we're starting 2025 with long, big books, and that's just going to be the way that it is. That is what she said. Anyways, I'll see you girls when I start reading this. Good morning, my girls. I have officially finished Love Redesigned. I'm sorry I haven't been able to do more check-ins. I don't want to say this in every single video because I know it's so annoying, but I'm currently working 2 jobs, so my reading is not like in places where I can film myself reading. It's like in inopportune moments driving in the car and stuff like that. So I just haven't been filming myself reading, which is okay. Let me give you a little update on how I felt about this and what it was about. So Lauren Asher's books, always at the beginning, because I read the Dreamland Billionaire series, and always at the beginning I'm like, I'm not gonna like this. This is so slow, this is so boring, what am I supposed to do? Like, except for the second one where it was the oldest brother and his assistant, I did enjoy that one. But anyways, I started this book and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like this. I don't even want to read a romance right now. This is not the vibe that I'm feeling. I take it back. I loved it. I didn't love it like to the point where I'm like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with this book, but like I loved it. So this book starts off, and our female main character, her name is Dahlia, and Dahlia has moved back home to Lake Wisteria, which I didn't even realize is where the last book takes place in the Dreamland Billionaire series about Callahan and Aurora. Aurora? Her name. I can't remember at this exact moment. So they show up in this book quite a bit, and it's so exciting, it's so fun. But anyways, she has gone back home to Lake Wisteria where Julian lives and has lived there. They went to college together, and then his dad passed away, so he had to go back home and he never went back to college. But him going back home and her staying at college put up this huge wall between them, and he kind of shut her out to deal with his grief and stuff like that back home. And that's where we're picking up. She has moved back home. It's 10 years later, and we're kind of navigating her going through a broken off engagement with the guy that she's been with for 9 years. And he is very lonely, very sad, and there's a lot of animosity between the two of them. So it's kind of a second chance romance, best friends or childhood friends to lovers situation. And usually that is not, like, I don't like that trope. Usually that's my least favorite. For Julian and Dahlia, amazing. This book was so good. I loved how like competitive they were, because one thing about like my personal relationship is we're very competitive. We're both Scorpios. We're both very stubborn, and like a lot of people will look at that sometimes and be like, I have no idea how that works. But like, it just, I love it. Like, I love my relationship. Obviously, we've been together 5 years, but I love to see like a relationship where they can like pick at each other. Obviously, sometimes they take it too far. I'm not saying the beginning parts, but as you get further in, they pick at each other like good-heartedly, and they still have competitions all the time, and they prank each other, and I just thought it was so fun to see. So anyways, I love this book. I rated it 4 stars, and then I did tab a page. I know, I have not been tabbing that much. Ever since Iron Flame, nothing just feels right to tab. But I am an extremely independent person, so this quote really spoke to me. It says, "Your issue isn't depending on people, but rather finding the right people to depend on." I have never heard that, and that honestly fundamentally changed me a little bit when I read it. I'm not gonna lie, because even in the book she was like, I never thought of it that way, and I never thought about it that way. She said, "It takes me a good minute to wrap my head around that one. Did everyone see what I was clearly missing?" He said, "No, although I wish I had." His hold on my hand loosened, so I tightened my grip to stop him from slipping away. Like, I never thought about that either. And I'm probably going to be thinking about that for a really long time. That was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher that you girlies picked. And next up, we had A Little Life versus The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I'm sure you can guess why I put these up against one another. These two books are gonna make you cry. They're heavy hitters. They're emotional. They're big boys. And A Little Life won, so we're going to be reading A Little Life by Hanya. I've tried to pronounce her last name in my head so many times, and I can't, so I'm not going to butcher it, but that is her down there at the bottom. This is what we'll be starting. Based off of what I've heard, this is about a group of college kids who, it just follows their life, and that's kind of what I've been in the mood for to read. And it's also January, so I just feel like it's the perfect time to read something like this. Like, it's cold outside, it's supposed to snow this weekend. Like, I feel like it's just the perfect time to get cozied up and read this book. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Hopefully I can give you girls some more updates throughout me reading this, and we'll see if I'll be crying. I don't know. Hello my girls. As it turns out, we are only gonna have enough time in this reading vlog to read the first 2 books that I read that you've already seen me read, and this book, A Little Life. We do not have time to get to, what was the last one, the Ever King or one of the Chestnut Springs books, because it's time for this video to be uploaded. And listen, it's not my fault, it's y'all's fault. Y'all picked all of the longest books. Every single book option, you guys picked the longer one, and I don't see how that's my fault. So I've given it my best go. Anyways, I am about probably halfway through this book. I'm on page 400 and there's like 700 and something pages, so maybe a little bit past halfway through. And wow, I've already cried 3 times. This book is so heavy. These characters, like, you're living such day-to-day lives with them that it feels like you know them, and like the things that one of them specifically goes through. I mean, all of them are going through things, but like there's one specifically that goes through like really, really heavy things just over and over again, but you feel so connected to them that it like hurts. Like, it feels like someone that you know is going through it. And then also like another perspective of like not near all of the things, but like relating on some levels with some of the characters, and like hearing the things that they say about it and the way that they think about things and the way that they feel about themselves as they're going through these things is like relatable in a heavy sense. And like, I don't know. I mean, I'm like the last person to read this book, so y'all are not looking to me for things, but I have been annotating quite a bit. And, you know, I don't know what I was going to follow that up with. I'm going to be honest with you right now. Okay, so this one, no, I can't read that. Spoiler. Guys, I think there's nothing that I can read to you that isn't. Okay, there is this one. I'll share one quote with you because I don't want to share any spoilers. He cleaned now to stop himself, to distract himself from doing other things. But when he was in college, he had cleaned for the others to express his gratitude. It was something he could do and had always done, and they gave him so much, and he gave them so little. Anyways, that's the only quote I'm going to read to you. I will be reading until my besties get here for dinner. Whenever I'm reading this book, I feel like I'm not even in the same world anymore. Like, I'm in this world. If that tells you anything about the book. Sometimes it's hard for a book to do that for me, but this book, I'm in this world when I'm reading this book. And time is not a thing anymore. And anyways, let's read. I just lost all the words that I was gonna say. Good morning, girls, and it's like the 15th now. Whatever. It is the last day for my followers pick my TBR, and honestly, I couldn't have picked a worst time period, worst time period for me to film this video. I have been working 2 jobs the entire time that I've been filming this video, which means that the amount of time that I've had to read is so small. That being said, I was only able to get to 3 of the choices for you guys to pick between, and I'm not going to be able to get to the final choice, which was the category of continuing series that I'm in the middle of. So that was between The Everqueen and Reckless by Elsie Silver, and that's okay because I kind of already know my thoughts on those series anyways, and you guys have kind of heard me talk about those anyways. The Everking was the first book in this series, and I thought it was good. It wasn't like anything fascinating for me. It was it's a fantasy series about a world where like some people live under the sea and some people live on land, and the people on land had taken over. The people on land had taken over, and the people under the sea could not come back up for a really long time. And then in the kids' time period of things, they kind of broke that curse, and now one of the daughters of the people who live on land is like down there with one of the kids who lives under the sea. So it's just a whole thing. But I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't anything amazing to me. It wasn't a favorite by any means for me, but it is good, and maybe that will change my mind reading the next one. And then we have Reckless by Elsie Silver, which is the 4th book in the Chestnut Spring series. And this one is going to be about the first character, like the first male main character's, what would you call that? Like mentee. He's this guy's mentor for bull riding, and the female main character in the first book's sister, Winter. So this is about Winter and Theo Silva, and it's just a small town romance. I don't know what the trope of this one is. I think it's Grumpy Sunshine, the female being grumpy and the male being sunshine. We'll see about that one. I've liked those so far. I would say that my favorite one was probably so far probably the second one. I like the second one a lot. Anyways, A Little Life. Wow. I'll probably finish it today. I know this is the most unnerving bookmark to have with a book like this, but it's what I have. Anyways, I will probably finish this today. This book, I can't stop thinking. I cannot stop thinking about these characters. I literally, to go to sleep last night, I put on a YouTube video, but still in my head was me thinking about this book on repeat. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop being in this world. And I think I said it in my last clip, but when I read this book, I am no longer here at all. I am in this world fully enveloped. And it's so crazy too to see all of the little things that you thought were so unnecessary in the beginning and so day to day, and this isn't going to mean anything later in the story, come to importance later in the story, and you don't realize how much you're building your own relationship with these characters in those little tiny ways. It's crazy to see that like play out toward the end of the book and stuff like that. But this book is heartbreaking. This book is not something that is for everyone. I would check the trigger warnings big time first. And this book is written so beautifully. I don't know. Like I said in my last clip too, I feel like everybody has read this book that's going to read it, and I feel like it's been talked about plenty. But this is definitely the kind of book that I was looking for to be reading, because I had talked in one of my other videos about how I was leaning less toward romance and more toward literary fiction. And that's just where I'm at right now in my reading journey, and this is great for that. I will probably still be reading these next, because one of my goals for 2025 is finishing all the series that I'm in the middle of. But thank you to everyone who voted on my Instagram stories, and thank you to everyone who is watching so much, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. I know it's Wednesday, so I hope the rest of your week is great, and I'll be catching up with you very soon. Goodbye!